Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. It's half-time. It's Celtic 0, Rangers 2, unfortunately. Sean, thanks for joining me. Needless to say, not the start to the game we wanted, and certainly not the end of the half we wanted. Try and break down what you've witnessed there from our first 45.
We've just been they've like the blue team have came and turned it into a battle, and we're losing that battle. It's not been about football, it's just been about blood, thunder, theatrics, gamesmanship, and they're absolutely dominating in all those respects. We're not playing well. We can't string much together. We should have been punished when Kasper Schmeichel tries to play that pass out. And so they're the thing that they've been doing effectively is they're pressing, and their counter pressing has been very effective, and we've not played through that well. Schmeichel's been caught with that a couple of times. Even when we try and get the ball out to our fullbacks, they're getting under a lot of pressure. So it's really, we can't play through the middle because it's too congested. When it gets out to Kuhn and Jota, they're just getting manhandled and getting nowhere. So, I mean, the only thing we've really had is a couple of sniffs from Maeda and set pieces. So, and look, that's the same sniffs that they've had, but they've just kind of wanted it more and shown more desire, and they've got to it when we haven't. So it's disappointing in that sense, frustrating, and I don't see us coming back from 2-0 down. Maybe we can get 2-2, but I don't see how I think this game's gone in terms of the win. So I just want to see some pride in the performance in the second half. You never know, stranger things have happened, but I'd be very surprised if we get anything more than a draw from this now.
Well, let's try and break it down there and see if we can figure out where it's gone, where it's specifically gone wrong. I mean, one of the things we spoke about at the in the pre-match, Sean, was making sure we do the basics, making sure we do the fundamentals. But for the bulk of that first half, our passing has been very, very poor. Our ability to retain possession has been very poor. We're seeing mistakes from leaders in the team like Schmeichel, who we spoke about again during the pre-match. We talked up the fact that we're looking for big performances from players like Engels. I think he's been largely anonymous in the match. We spoke about our front three. I think been largely nullified. I would say of the three, I'm most disappointed in Nicholas Kuhn in that first half. Looks a player shorn of confidence. Actually, what have you made of his performance?
Yeah, he's like I think Yilmaz has been. I'm just going to say he's been cheating, but also Kuhn, you're right, is also just not looking like he's got it in him to take him on. He's doing that thing where he comes inside and takes 5 to 6 touches and doesn't know what to do with it really. The indecisive Kuhn, and anytime he gets 1-on-1 with the wing back, the guy's just like hitting the deck and diving and it's very frustrating. Of all the poor performances on the park, mostly in green and white, I think one of the worst has got to be Stephen McLean. He has been appalling, like frankly appalling.
About the performance.
Some of the stuff that they're getting away with is just unbelievable. I think hold on, I've got a note here. 28th minute. 28th minute, he tells Diamandi no more after he blocks a goal kick, which is a yellow card and it's offence in itself. 1 minute later, he fouls McCowan. And then another 10 minutes later, another foul. So after telling him no more fouls, he's committed at least another 2 fouls that I've got in my notebook. So he's just getting out. Do whatever he wants, Diamandi, apparently. And if you think back to pre-match, Chris, who did I mention?
Yeah,
Diamandi. And what did I say? He would run into players' backs. What was the last foul that he didn't get booked for? Running into the back of Engels. He does it every game and he gets away with it. If I'm looking at our team, I'll look at the first goal is, I don't personally like having a player on the post, so I'm not going to actually call that one out. But I do think the free runner is not good. I think Schlupp or whoever's assignment that is should be closer to the guy instead of giving him a free header. I don't. This whole back post marking the post thing. A post doesn't score a goal. I'm not really a big subscriber to that one myself. But the second goal is more worrying because there's 2 midfield runners and neither of them are picked up. So Carter Vickers has to get drawn towards, I think it's Raskin, I can't remember, whoever heads it onto Diamandi. Yes. So he has to vacate Diamandi, and then Johnson is not getting back into it. And it's a midfielder. It's 2 midfield runners. Unless football's changed, midfield runners should be a midfield assignment. Maybe that's just old school thinking. I don't know.
I think it was Engels was the closest man to him, and I think it's Engels that's lost the run of Diamande there for that second goal. So yeah, two very poor goals from our perspective to give away. I think you never want to give away a goal at a set piece, but we do seem particularly susceptible to that. I think one noticeable element of the first goal is that while Schlupp, I think, tracks the runner, the runner's ahead of him, and Schlupp doesn't really get off the ground well enough, whereas one of the smaller players in the blue shirt, has a pretty good leap there, and obviously puts that in the net. The second one, I think, and it's been mentioned on the group chat, we spoke about the impact of maybe losing Callum McGregor, and sometimes you don't realise what McGregor brings to the table until he's not there. The midfield have looked like they're lacking a bit of direction, a bit of leadership today. You pointed it out at pre-match, you were unsure about McCowan's role in a defensive sense. We needed a big game from Rio Hatate. We were looking for Engels to step up and play in that number 6. A lot of us have spoken about, how he can perform in that role, but they've not really gelled today. And I think one of the most noticeable elements of that is we're not seeing a lot of the play being spread to the front three that we spoke so highly about. I mean, Kuhn is getting very heavily marked, I'll say that for him, but he doesn't look like he's got the ability to go and take on a player today. Some decent passes at times, but not creative. Jota took a long time to impose himself on the game. I think he was one of our better players towards the end of the half, trying to make a few things happen. Maeda, willing runner as always, doing lots, trying to be a nuisance, but we're just not finding a way to bring him into the game enough. And how do we change this, Sean? What do we do in the second half? I don't want to rule out the opportunity for us to bring this back. I'll always back the team until there's simply no way we can do it. But what can we do to try and turn this game around?
We need to start getting into the physical battle a bit more instead of try to skirt it. We need to have players actually engage with it in a way that if they're being fouled, then they're obviously fouled instead of and how what are the Sevco players doing when any physical contact that look at the first 30 seconds. Diamande goes down in an absolute heap when Hatate brushes up against him, and that ultimately that free kick ends up leading to the goal, the opening goal. So that's you can say that's dishonest and we don't want to see that, blah blah blah, but that's where we're getting beat right now. When as soon as they go 1-0 up, that's all of a sudden Jack Butland's down injured when Maeda's not touched him and he wins a free kick. James Tavernier's looking around as if there's not a football within 100 yards of him to take a throw in. The fourth official's trying to find a player in blue to take a throw in, and there's no one there. So we've given that we were naive at the start. We started slow, weak, and they got the edge on us, and they're just absolutely doing all the dark arts that they can to keep a hold of that and frustrate us. And that's on us, right, for being that poor at the start, and it just becomes really hard to turn it around at that point when that's what you're up against. So we have created chances. So we've made a lot more. When you think of Ibrox, we didn't create. I think we had one offside chance. I don't really remember any others. So we have created chances, but I think we only had, before they go 2-0 up, I think we've only got one chance, and that's the Hatate shot. So we had a flurry of chances at the end of the half there. If one of us goes in, it's a different narrative. But that's look, we need to get a goal and see where it goes from there. But it needs to be a bit more desire, a bit more fight, a bit more battle. I don't know, a bit more nous, composure. When we started the game, we thought we were going to be playing it like the same, like a European game, like we played against Hibs last week. And look, we've not done that. We have not been composed in the back when we've had the ball at the back four. We can talk about that pass by Kasper Schmeichel where Czerny should score. But also, if you look at where Nawrocki's positioning is, Nawrocki gets back and gets the block, puts it out of play, and he's getting some faint praise for it, but he's absolutely nowhere for receiving the pass. Yeah. He's had to put that sprint on to get back and fill that position. We're not in a good shape. We're not in a good place. We're not passing it well on the back four, and we're getting rattled by the pressing and by the poor officiating and all the gamesmanship that's coming with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is where we need to show some more street smart. So hopefully, Brendan will rally the troops during the half time, and we'll come out with more of a plan and more of a strategy. But as I say, I think fundamentally we need to do the basics better. Let's get some of the comments in. I know there'll be strong feeling in the in amongst the comments, but stick with us. Your boy Martin, thanks very much for supporting the channel as always. Every true Celtic fan behind the team today. Green Brigade, where are you? Yep, we'll need to hear the backing for the team. Really, really important. We know what the fans can bring. It's not just the Green Brigade; it's every fan. So, yep, it'd be good to everyone get their voices heard. Patrick James Simpson. This match reminds me a lot of when we used to face Walter Smith's side, all possession and they take the chances. Remember it vividly in the Tommy Burns years. Very, very frustrating. It does have elements of that. I would agree. Steve Sloan comes in. Only Celtic can take a corner 3 touches later. Schmeichel is on the ball. I've noticed that on a few occasions. We do need. I appreciate the need to retain possession, but we also need to try and make something happen when we have it. Brendan McCarthy comes in. We don't have players on the bench to change the game. We spoke about that pre-match, Sean. That could be a factor. Do we have enough assets on the bench to come in and make a meaningful positive impact? River C comes in. Nawrocki starting for the first time in 2 years, and he's one of our better players. I think he's certainly not disgraced himself during that match. I mean, for someone that's coming out the cold, he's done okay when called upon. But I agree with Sean. I think positionally there are concerns there, but he's certainly not the only one. As Henrik McLarsson comes in to say too many players missing in action. Andrew Logan comes in to say Kuhn offering nothing. Ramir, I think that is how you pronounce that. Apologies if that's wrong. Jota, the only one trying in an attacking sense, and Personal Jesus comes in to say we look lost. Sean, looking at the bench, we know Brendan likes to make subs around about 60 minutes. Would you go a bit more brutal? Would you make any changes at half time? And if so, what would you change?
I just don't know that we've got the quality and depth on the bench. Who are you bringing on, Yang or Ida, and who are you taking off in that case? Because as we talked about before the match, and even as it played out, our strongest third is our front third. So I don't know that there's much moves we can make that strengthen the team. To be honest, Greg Taylor, I don't know, man. Maybe just to give Schlupp a spell, a bit more someone who's got experience in the fixture, but. Other than that, it's Anthony Ralston, but again, I don't think Johnson's had the worst game, so I don't think that's an improvement. And I don't really see that Yang or he does really a big improvement on the players. The only thing I can think of that might improve the team would be if you put Maeda out wide, take off Kuhn, and stick Ida up at that point. That's the only thing I can think of. But I'd be surprised if they do it from the start. That seems like more of a 60-minute thing.
Thinking 60 minutes maybe. Just get some of the comments in here, see what people think. So Maestro 95 comes in and say, move Schlupp into midfield. Maybe give us that physical presence and give you the opportunity to bring Taylor on. But who would you take off if that's the case? Martin Linton comes back in, game's over. Chris, the ref's on their side again. Sean's right, so support for what you're saying. Sean, I think, I mean, as frustrated as we can be with the referee's decision, certainly, as we said at pre-match, we've got to play better so that these decisions don't have such an impact, and I don't think we're doing our part enough. Sharon Thompson comes in to say we are missing our captain to hold us together and need to start playing forward. I would agree with that. And Barry McCluskey says Jota on the right, Maeda on the left, Ida on for Kuhn. Seems to be very positive. Let's see. And Johnson saying has been our best player. This is for Brad Ladd. There's some comments I would love to bring up, but I can't because there's a few naughty words in there. And I don't want to get into trouble from Paul John. Look, 45 minutes to turn this around. Sean, I know you're taking a pessimistic view. You don't see us coming back and getting a win, but do you see us coming back and at least being able to level the score in that second half? What's the minimum as fans we should expect from the second half performance?
Well, the minimum would be a goal, a bit of fight. Let's get a couple of yellow cards as well, I guess, is what such old school dinosaur thinking. But at the moment, that would be a marker of where we're getting beat in this game, which is we are getting out muscled and out fought, not out thought, because I don't think there's too much thought in the Lazarus game plan. I think it's just be agrarian about things and see where it gets you. And so I don't. Yeah, I think we need to get a goal and get back into this and see where it takes us from there. But we need to see a more physical and more engaged performance from the players, a bit more battle.
Well, it sounds like Brendan has listened, because we do have, I believe, if the comments are to be believed, and I'm sure they are, that Ida is coming on for Kuhn. In fact, I can see that on my screen now. So Kuhn being taken off at the start of second half with Ida coming on. Positive move for you, Sean?
Well, that's the change that I suggested is the only possible change that we could make.
Yep.
And I guess Rogers sees it the same way, or John Kennedy, or whoever's called it.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting to see how this goes. I hope the big man puts himself about and rattles a few cages.
Yep. Stephen O'Rourke comes in to say the next goal is massive. I would agree with that. Hopefully it comes from us. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Over 2,000 strong following us on the live chat here. Really appreciate your support. I know it's not the result we wanted, certainly at half-time. Let's hope we get something more positive by full-time. We'll be here regardless. We hope you join us. But thank you very much for joining A Celtic State of Mind. Thanks, Sean.
Hello.